Andor episode 10, spoiler talk.
Yeah. Jailbreak. I don't know what it was called, but it was Jailbreak.
One Way Out?
Yeah.
Don't forget to learn how to swim.
That was cool. What do you guys think? Let's go with Josh, because Josh loved this episode. He was saying how he was sweating and shaking.
Okay. This guy's gonna make fun of me, all right? But
Sure.
But I'm about to ether him in a second, so don't even worry about it.
Whoa.
So I think it was just so intense. Like it. Let me give you an example here.
Okay.
If I'm watching something and I'm super into it and I'm like nervous, my legs start shaking. You know what I'm saying?
That's a Galagas thing.
Yeah. Watching sports,
shake.
it's a game. Tight, close game, important game.
Yeah.
I shake.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Like one leg.
Yeah, a little bit of
that's the
both.
Galagas thing.
Yeah, shaking leg syndrome. This guy, I mean, go ahead. What are you gonna say? You gonna attack me personally? Let's hear it. Go ahead. I want to hear because I got a rebuttal.
Because I got a rebuttal. There was a comment, and he was like, "Oh, I was shaking. It was so intense." And I was like, "I don't consider like moving your legs shaking. I consider like shaking like." Oh, like
okay.
I mean, it is shaking.
That's you're gonna lose this.
Yeah. That's what I was just.
I'm
just saying.
It's literally the definition.
That's why I made the comment.
But yeah, I mean,
wiggling my leg.
I think just the setup, the pacing of it all, it was just so well done. It was just picked up right where we ended last episode, which was a high of like, oh, cool, like. He's gonna get that old guy out of here. He's slowing us down.
Cool, he died. Also, those 100 dudes died as well. Sweet.
But no, just like from the high of him being like, no more than 10 or 12. And then he's like, well, we're not going to do it right now. Like, hold off. And then Cassian's like, no, we got to go tomorrow. Yeah. And so that like buildup of having him and then slowly seeing Kino like finally realize that he's like, no one's getting it.
Coming
like,
to
that
grips
scream
with it.
of like, nobody's getting out is like, oh, dang, like so good. He was fantastic. He's so good. I can't get over how good Andy Serkis deserves more credit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like everyone's always like, oh, Gollum. But he's just such a great actor.
Doesn't he win a lot of awards though? Doesn't he?
Not really, but like I feel like he gets like
I thought he
pigeonholed into like, oh, he's the mocap guy.
Yeah,
the mocap
for
guy.
sure.
And it's just like, man, just facial expressions, everything. Yeah, that speech that he gives at the end, starts chanting everyone.
He's like, is that all you got?
Yeah. That was just like that build up, and then the music kicks in.
Awesome.
The music was really good, and then just the visuals of all the people just kind of rushing out after being stuck in this prison for 3 episodes of being like, man, these guys' lives, it sucks. Like, just like the release of them getting out was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I wish we would have had a little backstory. To the I can't swim. Like we see a flashback where he's raised on Tatooine. And that's why he can't swim.
He's never seen water. I mean, that would have been amazing.
It's super
And then we
believable.
could have spent like 20 minutes on Tatooine again. Because
Let's go back.
That's what we've been missing. So you didn't like it?
No, I did. I really enjoyed the episode. Like I said, I think there's, again, if I am ranking all the episodes, I'm like, there's one I didn't like and the rest I've really enjoyed. So this one I just thought was really good. Like Josh said, it does ramp up and it's just kind of like continuing to just go to a crescendo.
Yeah.
And the acting in this is really good. The writing is really good. So like even when someone's just having a conversation with somebody, it's interesting. It's not just like, oh, this is boring. Let's show some action. It's like, no, everything. I think I kind of got in an argument throughout the week with Josh and Joel because I was kind of joking around like
he's being disrespectful is what he is.
I really like Andy Serkis and his character. I feel like I have more in 3 episodes or however it is that they've introduced this guy. I have more of an emotional reaction to him than I have to Cassian over the course of a movie and a whole show. So so because I made a comment to Joel, I said like, I'm kind of glad Cassian dies. Like, nothing's changed, even though I've seen his backstory. And I felt more
good riddance, honestly.
I felt more emotional for like Kino. I was like, oh man, I was bummed, right? And then
He's not dead, dude. He just can't swim.
I'm just saying that aspect.
He found a floaty and then jumped in. Okay,
that was sad though. And then so that's why I made that comment to them, and they were like upset, and we just went back and forth. But because I was like, oh man, they left my boy Kino, and then I felt like Cassian just ran off with Mulchi and it's like. Melchi or whatever.
Mulchi.
Melchi. And it was just like, well, see ya. So that's what I was saying. Like, I know I'm in the minority because probably like if I'm talking to most people that are watching the show, they're like, man, I'm invested in Cassian. But to me, it's kind of like he's so gray that I kind of like you kind of get what you kind of getting what you deserve kind of thing with him. And I go back and forth with that. So
wow.
I think
he's getting what he deserves
Cassian
or
Andor,
you get okay.
I think Cassian Andor eventually ends up getting what he deserves because he's like kills the guy in the alley. Like everything he does is kind of like it's basically a lot of stuff is his fault and other people are reaping those
I can't believe he decided to have his parents murdered when he was a child and lived on that planet, you know?
But
stupid Cassian. Come on, what are you doing?
No, what I'm saying is...
And he got taken and left his sister behind. Yeah, I remember when he did that.
But I can't believe he was walking on resort and got
Let's recap this a little bit, okay? So, in the opening, he's with his sister. He's a younger kid. And obviously, the older kids don't want him to go with them to the thing.
Oh, my God.
Wait, no.
Know your place, Cassian.
No, listen to this. I'm analyzing this in my perspective.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all the older girls and people, obviously, they're like, we don't want you to go. He decides to be like, oh, well, I'm going to go with the older kids. Leave my annoying sister there. So he goes, and what happens is, yes, he gets captured, this whole thing. That was his decision to do that, to leave his sister. And then when he gets older, now we see it's like he's obsessed with finding his sister, which is fine. But people have told him, don't look for her, like it's hopeless, all this stuff. But he decides to go and do that. Him killing those two guys then brings the Empire and all this stuff onto the planet where the guy's telling him, his friends are telling him, dude, Cassian, what are you doing? Like, just keep your head down, work like everyone else. You're fine. He can't do that. He does this whole thing, brings the whole Empire there. Bix gets tortured. The dude gets killed. Multiple people are now hurt because of his thing. He goes off, gets money, and then his mom's like, leave, don't worry about it. Okay, so he ditches, goes to a paradise, spending money with this whore, right?
Whoa!
Right?
Watch your mouth.
I'm just saying.
Floozy.
Right?
How do you know that? You don't know that.
I mean, come on. She wanted the beef cakes or whatever? Like
The Pizzos, bro.
Yeah,
Those are like
Pizzos.
Skittles, I'm pretty sure, bro. All right.
Yeah. So all I'm saying is,
And only floozies like Skittles.
all I'm saying is, like, technically, what is
crazy.
happening on that planet is because he,
Right.
he knocked down the dominoes. So that to me is like, you got to take that into account. So for me, it's like,
they also wouldn't be successful in like a lot of things without him.
You know what
Well, yeah, but
I'm
what I'm
hearing
saying
from
is
you?
the wheel
You
has
know
to
what I'm
start.
hearing from you? You're like, hey, just Cassian, do whatever they're telling you to do. The Empire tells you to keep building the stuff. Just keep doing it.
No,
Don't upset the
what I'm
order of
saying.
things. That's what you just said
That's not what I'm
about
saying.
Cassian
What
with
I'm
everything.
saying is, what I'm saying is, because
Keep your head down. Keep working.
No, because there's this element of him where he sets things into motion and other people suffer because of him, then I don't have that big of an emotion when he dies at the end of Rogue One because I'm like, he was the whole reason he was trying to kill Jyn Erso's father. Like, this whole thing, he kills the guy in the alleyway. He's so gray and, like, he's not a hero, like, because he's rough around the edges. That's what they're kind of playing with. So to me, I don't have an emotional thing where I'm like, man, I'm so bummed he dies, because I'm like, everything they've kind of shown is, yes, some tragedies happened to him, but other things are kind of like his fault. And so to me, it's that has prevented me from actually having like an emotional thing. And the difference is with Kino Loy is like, I don't know his backstory. I don't know why he's there.
You know why
but
he's there.
But the difference with him is, I see a guy that's like trying to get out. He's trying to just work and continue to do his thing. And then he realizes, oh, I'm never getting out. The Empire sucks. And that to me because I don't know what he did. And I'm just assuming like, oh man, he's just trying to get out, be good, get back to his family. And then the whole,
except he murders his family.
Well,
That's why he's
I don't
there.
know that. But for me, that is more emotional. I've had more of investment in that than with Cassian. And I think, like I said, I'm probably in the minority, but Cassian is so gray in that aspect that I'm like, I'm not invested in him emotionally.
That's fair. I understand that. I think like all the reasons you said about Cassian, I think that is what makes him such an compelling character. But I understand what you're saying. I mean, that's fine.
I get it.
Yeah. I appreciate it.
It's just completely wrong. No, the way I see Cassian is, I don't know if he's selfish. He cares about the people around him, right? So he cares about his mom. He cares about his friends, but he does make selfish decisions. And I think we're seeing him kind of grow into, he kind of gets involved with the rebels a little bit. He wants to join them maybe a little bit, and then he gets scared off. So we're seeing like kind of this growth of him. And then eventually we see him be more like Luthen, right? So where he's like, I'm ruthless. I'm going to do whatever I can for the rebellion, if that means sacrificing people and murdering people. And we don't really see that final growth until Jyn Erso kind of shows him in the end of Rogue One that it's like people are important, that kind of thing. We see that growth. So I agree what you're saying, that he's kind of in the gray area, but I still think that he has redeeming qualities. He's not just like, he wasn't like, screw you, Kino. He like, he could have just jumped off, but he stops and says, hey, why aren't you coming?
Yeah.
He's expecting him to come. So I think it would be unfair to say that he doesn't care about people, because he clearly is showing that he does care in specific instances.
Like I said, I needed a scene to really hit home where he's at the bottom there and the one he's like, jump, Kino, I'll get you, Kino. You know, at least 15 seconds of him.
Yeah.
Just, like Tom Hanks with Wilson, in Castaway.
Yeah. Kino, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Kino.
See? But they didn't. He just ran off.
Man, what a missed opportunity.
And like I said, I get it. Like, but to me, there's that element where I'm like, I just haven't. It hasn't changed. When I watched Rogue One, I didn't have an emotional reaction to him dying. I had more of an emotional reaction to K2SO dying, because I thought that was better.
Why?
Because they all died the same.
Why? No. Why did you have an emotional reaction to K2SO?
Because Andor's character through that movie is he's manipulating, and he's like, you see, he's trying to kill. The whole point is like, he's not really a friend with Jyn Erso. He has a mission to kill. Yeah. Right. And he kills the guy in the alleyway. Like, this whole thing is like, it's all for something else. And K2SO is kind of like, that character was like, he cared for Cassian. And so that was a difference. Like when Cassian Andor died, I was like, man, I didn't have an emotional reaction to it. And so it's weird that I'm still not having, even though they're doing the backstory, I'm still not having, like, it hasn't changed my, like, oh, it's a bummer he died. I'm kind of like, like, he did his job, but I don't feel like there's no mourning for Cassian dying. Yeah. I feel worse for Jyn Erso dying than I do for Cassian.
Do you think that where we see Cassian right now and where we see him at the beginning of Rogue One, do you see there's not enough growth there?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so from where he is now to where he is, like the ruthless, like Luthen style, because we get that Luthen monologue at the end that's just incredible. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of like, that's what Andor becomes, basically.
Yeah, right.
But I think he's already kind of there.
Yeah.
So that to me is like, if I could have seen something more, maybe that changes, but I just feel like I've seen him at the end, and I see the things he did in Rogue One, and I'm seeing him now, and I'm kind of like, he's kind of just, he's just floating in that area. I haven't seen him like, oh, he's totally good here. He's still kind of like screwing people over by his actions, which seems to be like what he does in Rogue One. He screws people over by his actions. So it's kind of like, I think it develops the character better, but to me it hasn't. I don't know. It's just weird for me that I don't feel like an emotion to him, like knowing that he dies. I haven't, been invested. I don't know.
I think we're getting to the root of the issue, and it's that you're racist. So, there's no other explanation. If he didn't have an accent, Jonah would be like, "Oh, I love this guy. Yeah. He's kind of flawed, and he made a lot of mistakes, but in the end, he changes, just like Darth Vader."
Yeah. See,
Jonah loves that turn, doesn't he? Wow.
It is.
What do you have to say to
You
that?
are
It
racist?
is. It's true.
You're
That's
racist.
why I didn't watch.
Oh my
Black Panther
God.
either, because
that a
Namor.
Mexican actor. Yeah.
Well, this podcast is over.
By the way, I'm
We have a
Mexican.
racist.
In case you guys didn't know,
You are?
surprise,
Yeah.
sorpresa.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I have a more. I think that makes Cassian like interesting, a more compelling character. That he is kind of gray and he has to do bad things, and I think that's kind of the fundamental story of Rogue One. It's like he's doing all these things for the rebellion, but he's essentially like losing his soul in the process because he's backstabbing his friends, like the guy in the beginning. I can't remember what his name is, but he's like expecting him to be his friend. And he's like, no, I'm
Help
gonna
him out, and then
I'm
he's
gonna
like-
shoot you because
he rolled
I
his
got,
ankle.
because I got to survive.
Yeah.
And then it's that he meets Jyn Erso, and it's that kind of progression of him being like, there's a better way to do the rebellion, and I can still be a rebel and not give up my soul. Essentially, I can still be a good person. So I kind of like I identify with that, and it works for me. It just doesn't seem to work for you, I guess.
Too bad.
Yeah. That's all right.
I think it's well done. Again, I'm not having an emotional connection. That doesn't mean it's bad. It's just for me, it just doesn't hit like other things do. But enough about me. Corey, do you got any thoughts?
Were we talking about you?
I'm just saying, like,
Basically.
my opinions on this.
Yeah.
What did you think of the episode? Because you've been kind of probably out of the four of us, the one that's least liked it. Not
Correct.
that you've hated it, but you've been kind of like not as a big a fan. So what did you think of this episode?
Like I keep asking people, sorry, just real quick. I keep asking people, I'm like, if you take away like the stormtrooper outfits and the spaceships and like, change how it looks, does it feel Star Wars to you? And I've been asking people that who, aren't you guys. And it's interesting, the discussions I have with people.
you
They're
talk to other people besides us?
I have a million other
my
friends
God.
because you guys are actually the lowest tier friends that I have. You guys are in this X tier, yeah. No, but with this episode, actually, the most Star Wars thing that I watched was the scene on the bridge with the elevator and what's his name, Luthen, talking to that guy who's the double agent. That was super Star Wars to me. I loved that. That was so cool. I loved just the writing of his monologue, basically. And that in turn was like exactly what the rebellion's about, and it's so cool. The line where he's like, I'm doing this all for a sunrise that I'll never see.
Yeah.
That was such a good line. And I was like, that's so good. So I really liked that scene. That was my favorite. The prison break, I'm gonna be honest, guys. I wasn't all I wasn't shaky, dude. I was like, cool. This is really easy. Like, it's all going pretty dang smooth. There were no moments of like second guessing if they would make it out or they'd lose someone really important, except for the very end where he's like, I can't swim. Oh man, frick. For me, it just felt a little bit like easy. He thought through for probably months, I'm guessing, the plan and stuff like that. So it all worked out. And if anything, this is more of a more like context on how the Imperial is just overextending their means, where they're undermanned in this prison. And so it kind of makes a statement of like, oh yeah, they were like totally vulnerable in a way. They almost were putting up this facade of a bigger force than they had, and so that's why it was easier for them to get through. But yeah, for me, I wasn't like, oh my gosh, are they gonna make it? Like, oh my gosh, are we gonna lose someone we love? And it's like, no, there weren't any characters that I was afraid to lose. There was no tension in that aspect of it for me. So if they would have had an event that happened and that wasn't like, oh, I can't swim. Maybe if there's something before that where like he was sacrificing himself so other people would make it through, that would be cool. But yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of it. It was all right. It was pretty standard jailbreak kind of
Prison break.
whatever.
Yeah, they kind of.
So it was just fine. It was okay. The other scene is really what made this episode really stand out.
Yeah, they kind of the guys that you were with, they kind of killed them off really early. Like the guys that Cassian was working with the whole time, like they shoot him when
Just
they're
one of them like made it through.
Yeah, so that was kind of interesting that they made that, and then it was just kind of everyone running up.
Yeah, just felt like it had no like all the investment in like getting to know these characters like had no like end result, like no payoff. And that's what felt weird and empty to me for this episode.
It's crazy too, because those boots that they had that were just there, they look like those would float.
That's
So
true.
they could just
They
throw
look
those
like
on.
those pumps, those Reebok pumps.
If he just put them on his hands
Put these on. He's like, yeah,
and his feet, he's just floating. Yeah,
Dude, oh my gosh.
That's probably how they're gonna reveal that he survived.
Yeah, he has a
that's
raft
how
of
he
them.
turned into Snoke.
I don't
He
know.
survived, and then the Empire picks him
Yeah.
up, and then they torture him.
I don't know. For me, it just felt a little like empty / cheap. Just at the end, being like, "Oh, frick, dude, we're in the middle of the ocean. I forgot. I don't swim." Like, I don't know. For me, it's just kind of weird. That felt like anticlimactic to me. 100%. We're like, "Let's go, guys. We got to get out." And he's like, "Ah, shoot, ah, shoot, bro." Yeah. So it felt weird to me. But yeah, no, the other scenes were great. As, also with like it wasn't he was like a gangster or whatever, but he was the embezzling guy basically. That scene was good.
Yeah.
Mon
Mothra.
Mon Mothra. Her acting was actually really good. Her like her quivering lip when he when he was like, "Yeah, this is my only offer."
Yeah.
And she's like thinking about it.
I was
Yeah.
like, that's too
Like
easy.
she is what?
Her daughter's a brat anyway. She's like,
Yeah, to me, it
you
was
know
like,
what?
yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Hey, we need the money.
Not much of a loss.
But yeah, I thought her acting was really good. I thought that was pretty good
Yeah.
of a scene. But yeah, no, not bad. Not a bad episode. Yeah, it's cool. It's
Mick,
cool.
what do you think? You
I
haven't
definitely
talked
lean
much.
more Josh's way with the prison break. Yeah,
Just shaking in his boots.
shaking.
Scared.
Yeah, because you just want these guys to succeed so badly, and just seeing these past episodes of just the hell that they're in, you just want them to escape. So I was definitely more like, yeah, I'm with you. And that's how I said
Throw
it.
that wrench,
Yeah,
bro.
I'm with yeah. So no, I really, really enjoyed that. And prison break scenes are always fun. And
I wanted a
Exciting.
little bit more resistance. Like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe that scene where they show all the guards just hiding in our side room because they knew they weren't going to win.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to open the door and shoot
And,
him
like,
from behind.
I was just hoping for some twist.
yeah,
Something to happen, when they're in the commanding room and those dudes were like, just standing off the side. I'm like,
okay, that is one scene that I was like, okay, they let them live. They walk out of the room. Why didn't those guys just turn
Turn it
everything back on?
Yeah.
so
They said it takes 8 months to get back on, bro. It's Hydro.
Yeah.
I like how he was explaining.
that.
I like how he was explaining
so
that
you
to
know.
the prisoner. He's like, I can't turn it off. It's going to take like 4 months to turn back on. He's like, "Dude, I don't care. Turn
Yeah, I
it
know.
off, you idiot."
It wasn't for you, bro. I'm sorry. It wasn't for the character. It was
Yeah,
for
it's
us.
for us. Yeah, to be like,
justify
yeah,
it. Oh, okay, that makes sense.
But no, I definitely enjoyed that part. And yeah, it was a little. I think like you, it was a little didn't really work for me with the. Oh, I can't swim.
I just thought it was anticlimactic.
A little bit,
that's all.
but
I shed a tear.
I definitely.
I said,
He was shaking so much, and his tears started coming out.
Darn,
swim.
darn his mother. He never took him to
Tatooine.
pool classes.
I do hope we see him again though, because he's just such a. Again, like Jonah, he's such a compelling.
I think they're going to show us
character.
his body. That's what they're going to do. He's going to be dead.
Man, I hope not.
That's going to be the opening scene,
Oh, gosh.
Why?
so that everyone
he
can
just started
shut up
floating-
about
he just
him.
started
Yeah,
floating,
exactly.
Like face down.
How
and
dare
then it's
you?
like-
Yeah.
and then-
How dare
he's
you?
and then-
dead
and
for
then
real.
An Empire guy goes, he's like, he really couldn't swim. No lies detected.
But yeah, everything else was really great in the episode. The scene with Luthen and the elevator.
Yeah, that was great.
And then the Mon Mothma stuff. Mm-hmm. Awesome. Love it.
So what do you guys think? We got 2 episodes left.
Yeah.
I mean, we
What
have
do you-
to go back to Ferrix, I think. He's going back for his mom. I think that's what
And we saw that there's this spy there that's watching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The guy that turns in the Cyril or whatever the first time.
Yeah.
And then the other chick is there, right?
Yeah.
Bix?
No.
Big
No.
No, the
Val's girlfriend.
Yeah.
The,
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. I can't
What's her
remember
name? I don't remember.
I'm sure Google knows.
So, what do you? So I think Luthen dies in the last episode. I think that's
so?
I think they're kind of setting him up to be like he's had several monologues where he's like, I'm a dead man. Like,
I'm a coward. I'm not
I
making it
ain't
out of
gonna see
this.
something else.
Yeah, yeah,
I do.
yeah, yeah.
I do. To go back a little bit, that line you said where he's like, "I'm sunset. I'm never going to see."
fighting for a
It's kind of
sunset.
interesting because Cassian. It's not a sunrise, but it's like the
Right.
explosion of the planet. Like Cassian
like-
sees that. It looks like a sunrise. So that's kind of
Yeah.
a cool little thing. But I think Luthen, I think that's how you end it with him, where he kind of dies, and that sets Cassian up on the, like, I'm taking up his
Right.
mantle with the rebellion kind of thing. I think that's what they're probably going to do. But I could be wrong. I'm always wrong about this kind of stuff. But what do you guys think the last 2 episodes are going to be?
Man, I feel like they'll save that for season 2.
Okay. Like leading right up to Rogue One.
Yeah, because he's just such a compelling character that I feel like we could get more from him, and just more interesting things with his character. So
Yeah, that is true. I think there was a thing like months ago where he was like, "Oh, we're starting filming season 2," so that might be a key.
Flashback. Maybe, yeah, it's all flashbacks. I agree. I want to see more of him kind of talking with Saw and some of the other rebel cells.
Yeah.
I kind of think that there's a lot more to be explored there. So, I think that. And I think probably Cassian's mom dies.
Okay.
yeah,
The robot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a catalyst for something.
Yeah. I think because she's
To
already
press him forward and
she's
get
already
him on the right
yeah
track.
she's already saying that she wants to be a rebel.
Yes.
She's like, I'm trying to do that. So I think that's kind of what's gonna catapult him into being like, I'm all in on the
Pretty
that
straightforward.
rebel life. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, when she said that, I was like, she's totally gonna die
Yeah.
because
for
he's
sure.
all on the fence, doesn't want to do it. Yeah,
Well, in Rogue One too, he talks about like you're not the only one that lost everything.
Yeah.
so.
I am interested to see if we'll I feel like Luthen keeps mentioning like sacrifice and stuff like that. So I'm curious if we'll see, like, did he have to give up his family? Did he have to sacrifice someone he loved? Like
Just an arranged marriage.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm curious if we'll kind of get a little bit of a backstory with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think everyone's already said it, but that monologue was awesome.
Yeah.
Really good, really well written. I like the one where he's like, I share my dreams with ghosts. Yeah, I'm condemned to use the tools of my enemy. It's like all things that I think we've already known, but like to have someone just put it into words and be like, yeah, I'm the embodiment of having to do what nobody wants to do.
Yeah.
Do the ends justify the means? All that stuff. I think it was just really well done. And then the fact that he's like, 50 men, that's fine.
Right.
Like, it's worth it for you and your daughter to be happy, you know, to have a dad. And like, dang, that's ruthless.
Yeah, it's the best explanation of I'm sacrificing everything
Yeah.
that I've heard, which is really cool.
yeah, it's been good. I think that was an improvement for me. I'm enjoying it. I'm excited to see kind of the interaction with Bix, I guess, because that's kind of not really been addressed.
Yeah, we don't know what she's going to.
She got messed up.
Yeah.
So that's going to be crazy. But yeah, I think that's where we're going next.
Yeah. Only 2 more episodes to see Palpatine. So,
Yeah, the question is who's Sauron?
yeah,
I
exactly.
don't know.
And
Could be
then
anyone.
is Bail Organa going to show up at the end?
Well, here, like our predictions are going to be like the winner's going to
gosh.
have like a -5 or something. It's going to come down to, we'll see. I may have a chance this time, guys.
Have you done the calculations
No, I
already?
haven't.
Okay.
should
I mean,
look
no
at it.
one's had anything right? No one's showed up.
The lack of, like the saying of no would win you the game.
Yeah.
I think I
that's
said
true.
no.
That's the only thing.
I think I said no a lot.
Yeah.
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 But yeah, that'll do it for our discussion on Andor, episode 10. We'll be back next week with episode 11. Let us know in the comments what you thought. Do you agree with some of us here? Do you disagree? Let us know. Let's keep the conversation going. Subscribe and like on YouTube. We're on Facebook and everywhere else. So yeah, we'll see you next week. Thanks for hanging out.